Let's see. We are live now. Cool. All right. I am going to. Hello, Kevin Derda. Nice to see you. I got my cousin on. We're just gonna get things started here with let some people join in. All right. I think we are good. I'm just gonna share this real quick. Let everybody know we're starting. Hello, everybody on Instagram. We are doing Instagram Live and Facebook Live at the same time. So if you see us, if you see some delay or some weirdness, that's what it is. At Joey Greene. Wait, that's your pub. That's your.
Joe Greene Jr.
Joey Greene. There you are.
Here I am.
See, I need an assistant to do all this stuff for me.
Producer.
So I need a producer who can like share on Facebook and Instagram while I'm doing this. Okay. Let's do a watch party. How do I do that?
Picking up the audio.
I have mine's turned all the way down.
Oh. Hey. Enjoy.
All right. We got a few people. I need to turn my phone down even more. So Joey, to get things started, I'm just going to let people know a little bit about what we're talking about right now. Oh, how do you do a watch party? I see all these watch parties, and then when I want to do them,
kind of
I can't. All right. I don't know. Oh, well. Well, we're live. So everybody who's on Facebook and Instagram, tell your friends. So I'm here with Joey Greene. We've known each other for 16 years, right? God. Somewhere in there.
Our relationship is at puberty.
That's right. It's in the moody, broody stage.
But I love him.
That's right. So we're gonna be talking a little bit tonight. Joey was featured on Queer Eyes, Netflix Queer Eyes season 3, and
season 5 coming up in June.
And season 5 is coming up June 5th, I believe, is when it comes out. So pretty cool. Hello to everybody on Instagram. We are also on Facebook Live. So if you see us switching back and forth, it's because we're doing 2 cameras. One of the things I'd like to talk about before we get started, to get out of the way, we are raising some money tonight, or trying to raise money for the West Side Improv here in Wheaton.
And we've set a goal for tens of dollars.
They have a goal of $40,000. You can see it here if you're on Facebook Live. You can check out their GoFundMe. It's pretty easy to find. Just GoFundMe.com/help Westside Improv Survive. You can see it. If you go to GoFundMe, you'll be able to find it. But give to them. We'd love to see some people make some donations during the show tonight. They are at $17,000. They need $40,000. I know they need to do some renovations in order to open back up. So let's get out there and help them. And actually, speaking of improv, why we're talking about West Side Improv, Joey and I don't have anything to do with West Side Improv, except for the fact that we started in a small improv theater in Dayton, Ohio. That's how we know each other. So I don't know about you, but it would be impossible to do to have a theater open during a pandemic like this, I think.
It definitely has changed the rules.
Yeah.
And it's even here in Kansas City, the Comedy City is where I perform on a regular basis, and we're literally moving out of that venue right now. So it's just gonna, basically being in a holding pattern. Comedy Sports, the organization that I've worked with out of St. Louis, they've completely taken everything online, which it's not necessarily raising money, but the one thing that's been really cool about it is we've been able to play with people from all over the country, all over the world, because you just click on Zoom and basically you can have everybody in the living room. Now that's one thing that's been interesting is that normally would cost a fortune.
Right.
Fly all those people together and get them to record and to be able to do a show in Vegas on one weekend, in Dallas the following weekend, Portland the following weekend. And so, and since it's based on a sporting format, it's been kind of nice. They've actually been doing like Sports Center updates and highlights from the shows.
Yeah. Yeah. I like, without there being a pandemic, it was really hard to just get people to come out and see live comedy in the suburb of Dayton. I remember.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's how we got started. I think also if people are watching, we're gonna play it. We'll try to play an improv game at the end. So
All right.
we'll see if we can play Sex with Me. So it's Sex with Me is blank, and you fill in the blank, and we'll come up with a joke. There's a delay in the live streams, so we're not going to do them immediately. But if you have a suggestion of like, let's go with household items like a appliance,
You
put
can
them in the comments, and we'll try to make a joke out of them. So, but yeah, let's get started because I think everybody here is probably interested in knowing about the Queer Eye experience. And what's hilarious is your name on the stream is Kelly Ann Larson. So
Mhm.
that's your girlfriend who
Mhm.
was also featured on the show. I actually was hoping she'd be on a little bit more, but she wasn't. Did they interview her or anything for that?
Yeah, I didn't get a whole lot because most of the show is based on discovery, and
Yeah.
and it's all about reveals. And so, like, I didn't know we were going to REI until we were literally pulling into the parking lot. I didn't know what they were talking to other people about because they were finding out information and they didn't want me to influence them. And so literally we would shoot my shots, we would do all of my stuff, and then I was whisked away and had no contact really with anyone else. So all of those reactions were literally like, oh, my
So
my
you had no idea what was going on. Like when you went to REI, you just knew you were going somewhere you didn't
Yeah,
know
I
yet.
thought I was going back to camp when they picked me up, and we were taking all these weird directions. And then the person who was my driver, she's like, "Do you want to go to Panera?" And I was like, "You're in charge. You tell me where we're going." And she's like, "Well, Panera sounds good. Do you want something else?" I'm like, "I don't care." And so what I found out later was Panera was just a reason to to keep us captive until
Really?
everything was set up there.
Yeah.
And we started leaving, and I was like, man, this is really, we went completely the wrong direction in order to get to camp.
Hi.
There
I
she is.
had one-on-one with Jonathan right after they all came into the apartment,
Yeah.
and that was it.
Did they film it at all?
They did. They filmed me meeting all the guys and giving them a hug and being there a little bit when they started going through the apartment. And then I got one-on-one with Jonathan, and that was it.
Yeah, that was the only like beef I had with the episode was they kept mentioning they're like, "Oh, Joey has a girlfriend." I was like, "Yeah, why don't you go talk to her?"
Well, I think they interviewed me like they wanted to have me as part of the show, but then once they realized Isaac and the father-son
Oh,
dynamic,
yeah.
that became the focus of the show instead of him and his girlfriend, which they've done 100 times.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. That's true.
And they
Um
promoted it really early on. Like they said, like there's enough in your life and the hero's life that we could do the 90-minute feature film of Joey's life, but
Yeah.
Netflix only gives us 45 minutes.
Yeah, there was a lot that they couldn't get into on the show that was, I thought, like really it, it almost didn't tell the full picture. But I do like what you said about the show, how they kept it very real,
Yeah.
which is not typical for a reality show, because you watch a lot of them that are, you know, like mainstream shows, and it'll be like a contest or whatever, and they're like, all right, we're gonna start this contest except for this one twist, and it's like, yeah, you do a twist, like it's not real at all.
Yeah, there were no
So
producers like calling me up and saying, okay, in this scene,
yeah.
that's what I was kind of prepared for, because I'd only seen maybe a part of one episode before I actually started this whole process. And so then it became, I'm not going to watch it because I don't want to have it affect me until it's actually done and we can do the program. And I kept asking him, you know, so what do you need from me? What do you need from me? And the answer was almost always from the top level producers down to the guys that I was working with on every day. Just be you. Just do what you do. And the only like, I don't know, weirdness that they may have like contrived was, you know, they're like, would you let your hair grow out? You know, and
I just
it,
wanted you to look more disheveled than you actually were.
well, and it's kind of hard if your hair's all clean cut and short for somebody to come in and do a transition because there's no hair to cut. So, you know, and you know, if I kept a nice trimmed beard and a crew cut, what's he gonna do?
Yeah.
You know,
Like, oh, we could give you new clothes.
they do that already. You know, that's part of it. So
I think that's the thing that most people ask me when it was like, oh, that's Joey. Like, was he really like that? Was he really that bad? Like, I thought it was, the thing that shocked me was I knew you the whole time. Before you filmed that. I had no idea you filmed it, by the way, because of the non-disclosure. So you had actually shown up. We played a show in December, a Christmas show at Dry City Brew Works here in Wheaton. Go to support them. And you had a leather jacket. That's pretty much the only thing that was different about you. And you just seemed like happier.
Yeah.
But everybody would be like, oh, was he really like that? Was he really that bad? And I thought they had you like really serious on the show. Like everything, I'd never seen like serious Joey that much. And it was like 40 minutes of serious Joey.
Yeah.
So that was weird.
With improv and what we've always done, I mean, that's our brand, is happy-go-lucky, fun-loving guys. We're gonna go be the living cartoons, and so that side of me is usually, you know, reserved for like professional conversations. And when I go to work, I've always kind of wrestled with the people confuse my
guitar just fell
over. With who I really am.
Doing a live show.
You know?
Yeah. Yeah, they didn't get into any of the improv, music, anything.
Once again, I mean, you have 45 minutes and they're focusing on, you know, one particular component of your life.
Yeah.
You know? And then the camp is almost an hour 15 south of the city. So if they were to focus on both the artistic side of one side of my profession and then the camp side of another, they would have had to have a 1 hour drive to set up two different sound studios and two different environments. So it would have literally been two different shows.
Can you talk a little bit about the selection process, or like how you got into the show?
They send out mailers whenever they're coming to a city. Okay. And it's just big blanket. And Kelly actually got one. And so we're just going through postcards, and it was like junk mail to me because I don't really follow a lot of stuff on TV and things like that. And Kelly's like my source for like media. And so I saw it and I was like, huh, and I was asking her, like, this is that reboot that they're doing, right? And she's like, yeah, they're actually looking for candidates. And she told me the whole story. They're coming to Kansas City. Like, oh, and then we jokingly said, you should mail it in. And she was like, I don't know, and so, we had our little exchange back and forth, and then forgot about it. And at the same time, this program director job had come up at camp. And so I had been going back and forth whether I was going to take this job or not. So the day that I was kind of signing the W-2s and getting everything all, put together, saying, yes, I'm going to take this job, my camp director, Laura, she's in the show, she says, oh, and by the way, we're talking to the maintenance guy here, but I don't know if he's going to be interested, and we want to nominate somebody from camp. And sure enough, he wasn't interested. He's like, that's not mine.
Before you started working there, they asked you, like,
I had made the decision. Like, I'm leaving Tall Oaks. I'm coming to Wildwood. So it was all kind of official.
Welcome to Wildwood. Hey, will you be on a reality show?
Right, pretty much. And so I was like, sure, And then they said, okay, well, this is how it's going to work. We're going to submit it, and then you'll get a phone call if you get approved. And then Allie, I believe it was Allie, called and said, hey, this is how it works. These are the 5 guys. This is the 5 areas that they focused on. So we're going to ask you some questions. And then it just becomes this long sort of vetting process. And that was probably early April. And it was probably the first week of July when they started scheduling dates. And I got the official word, maybe the last weekend in June. So the whole question answer process took a really, really long time. And they do a lot of like interviewing and questioning, and they want to find out as much as they can about me and what I like and what I'm interested in.
Yeah, and make sure there's like a story there. And then so that's when they kind of were like, hey, so yeah, you're getting pretty far along. Will you like grow your hair out and get like a little smelly?
They told you don't shave. They were never like that. It was always kind of up to me. They're like, so if this happens, we want to be able to do this. Would you be willing to let your hair grow out? Of course, I'm the camp guy that cuts my hair like twice a year. So it's like, yeah, no sweat off my back. It just is.
Right. Yeah. So that's like the only like fakeness about the story. And that's less on Queer Eye and more on like Wildwood almost, if that makes sense. Like Queer Eye made this story, like they tried to keep things pretty real.
I felt like for the most part, they were genuinely interested in who I was and what was important to me.
Yeah. But then like the fake stuff is, okay, you're new to Wildwood and it's like, oh, look where he lives. Look at here's this smelly fridge.
Right.
And come to find out, it's like, well, how long had you been there at that point? It's like, that's where they gave him to live.
Yeah. I mean, that was, I took a couple hits but it's interesting because camp life it's an entire lifestyle. It's not uncommon for staff to have like 6-8 people living in one domicile, so to speak, just because they're all on very limited budgets. And the more and we had a conversation because one of the first things they do is they'll send people. They have local people on the ground in Kansas City to meet with you and take like phone footage and camera footage to kind of see where you live and how you are. And so I'm literally like walking into this place saying like, this is where I'm moving into, this is what they've offered me. And there's like PVC pipes on the floor and, and I was like, I don't know what this is going to look like in 2-3 weeks when I move in here.
Right.
But the trade-off is that meant that I got that apartment to myself. I didn't have to have roommates, or I didn't have to have long-term roommates. But then at the same time, when you have a huge group of people that are coming in and they need every single available bed, staff are the people that get pushed in, So like 3 weeks before filming, we had most of the summer staff that was there for training in that apartment, all just kind of crammed in there.
Yeah. Yeah. So it's like, I think that's the question people would always ask me of like, oh, was he really like messy like that? But it's like kind of like that's camp life. That's
It's
like
a large part of it, but then again, I love camping,
yeah, right?
a lot of that stuff. So it's a balance, it's like, what are you willing to put up with versus what do you get out of it? It's all part of the adventure, really.
Yeah. So when they were filming you, did you were you like funny and they just cut it out, or were you like that serious the whole time?
There were moments, but I was kind of just blown away by the whole experience. So like when they would start talking to me, they would ask me about serious things,
Yeah.
One of the ways that I deal with things is through humor.
Right.
And so I was trying to sort of not laugh it off or joke about it because they really wanted to know my honest opinion, and so I have problems with sincerity because I'll say things and they sound sarcastic.
Really? I've never.
You're looking today.
Yeah. I've been. Oh, you're going on stage looking like that? Okay.
Yeah, you look great.
Hey, that's when we do improv, I'd be like, hey, that thing you said, that was a good idea.
Dude, that was fun.
Yeah. My favorite thing was how you would screw. So we used to do this thing for people who are watching who don't know. We would do Muse Machine, and it was this program in Dayton where they would bring the arts back into schools, and our improv group, Smarty Pants, was a part of this, and we would go to these like high schools and middle schools and elementary schools and do improv shows, and Joey would just screw with the principal or whoever we were. We would show up to meet, who would greet us there incessantly because they've got 200 kids who are going to come watch an improv show, and they're like, okay, so what are you guys going to do? And Joey would just be like, we don't know.
We actually, one of my crowning moments actually was there was 800 kids, filled up one half of the gymnasium, and they're literally filing into the room, and the principal's like, so you guys, I'll just let you open up the side door and you can pull on in, and we're like, this is it. He's like, oh, you don't have any props or anything? Like, no. And he's like, oh, well, I'll let you get set up, but you need to run through anything? And we're like, no. And I could tell each question that he asked, he was getting a little more anxious and a little more like, and finally, like just in a panic, he's like, you mean to tell me that I've got 800 kids coming into the gymnasium right now and you have nothing and you have not prepared any material? And right before I'm like, yeah, the lady who hired us, this was such a like validation. She just stops him. She like puts her hands on his chest and she looks at him dead in the eyes and she goes, they're that good. Now all three of us were like, yep. What she said.
Yeah.
So that was really rewarding. Probably my favorite story, and I'm sure you've heard this one before. I've told it probably.
They haven't.
Was when the principal of Morton Middle School basically flashed the entire auditorium. Yeah. You know this one, right? Yeah. So we're doing a wrap up, and it was an okay show. It wasn't the best show ever, right? But we're doing the wrap up, and I'm outro the players. Thanks for having us. Give a big round of applause for Fred Leeds, and he takes his bow, and there's probably 10 million Fred Leeds stories. And Kevin Brannick, and Kevin raises his hand to say hi, and he hits the American flag. Okay, and this is close enough to 9/11 that like patriotism is at an all-time high. I mean, people are just like, and the flag just starts going coming down, And so Kevin reaches out and he grabs the flag, and it just literally kind of like unrolls. So he's standing there at the corner of the flag in his hand, like sort of this dumbfounded look on his face. Well, the principal is going to save the day, and she's in the back of the room, and she is hauling as fast as she can down this, tiered auditorium floor, and she starts going faster than she can keep up with herself, and her shoe goes into the front of her skirt, and it completely strips her skirt off of her waist. So she's standing there with sheer pantyhose and thong underwear in front of the entire school. I mean, and she's got the flag with both hands like this before she realizes, and it's like, ugh. And Kevin kind of pulls the flag off, and she darts off to the side. And I'm sure there was lots of 8th grade boys that needed some time alone when they got done.
Yeah.
But it's an average show.
She did what she needed to do for her country.
Oh man, it was
She
so.
made the ultimate
Really good word
sacrifice.
about it. She was all embarrassed, and we came out and talked to her afterwards, and she was laughing. She was super she was totally like, these things happen.
Yeah, you gotta be able to laugh at yourself when that stuff happened. The thing that was crazy about those is like sometimes you would walk into an auditorium full of like 800 kids, and then you do 2 schools on the same day, and then the next show would be for like 5 kids who were like they were sent there for bad behavior in like the intramural room with like there'd be wrestling mats, whatever like stuff they weren't using in the cafeteria, and then like garden hose and stuff. Like it was crazy.
I mean, that's I think the beauty of like being on tour, so to speak, is every venue, every experience, it's always new.
Yeah, the thing that's funny too is like about your show is and how things changed is like you think about how the world shifted, and like you're not even allowed to do live performances now, and then you were on a show where you were camping for a living and like living out in the woods in the middle of nowhere. Like,
nothing new to me.
Yeah, this pandemic thing is like you're just like, what? Why is everybody so bored?
Waited for 3 months.
Yeah. That's social distancing. Check.
Get a load of that.
Yeah. Yeah, like it's so funny. Because you see, the thing that gets me is just like, I don't know if you watch Instagram stories, but I'm getting like real sick of the Instagram like influencer moms who are like, oh my God, let me tell you how I clean my packages from Amazon when they come to the door. Like, like, okay, first of all, you got to get your gloves and you got to leave the package outside. And it's just like, come on. Like, do you really like, do we care what you think about this? Like everybody's going to have their opinion and you got to share it on social media. Just like,
well, and it's that ocean of material that I think is contributing to a lot of the misinformation, because everybody has good intention.
Yeah.
They want to help. Everybody wants to help. But a lot of times it's so much, or maybe you're not quite right.
Yeah, they want to help it if it doesn't conflict with their liberties.
Right.
Like the whole thing I don't get right now is like, you're not going to know if this stuff was blown out of proportion or not. Like it could be a result of the shelter in place orders and all that. Like it could not be. Like who knows? But like all you have to do is just not be a dick.
Yeah.
Just to be safe.
Sometimes have a problem with that.
Who does? What was that? Sorry.
We as Americans sometimes have a problem with not being a dick.
That's true. Yeah. If you
there's lots of communities that I've hung out with where if you're not being an asshole, you are being nice. And that's a pretty wide spectrum, like just because you're not being a jerk doesn't mean you're a nice person. It means you're a person that's, contributing.
Yeah. If YouTube has taught us anything with the public freak out video compilations, we have a real hard time not being a dick.
It's easy because you don't have to worry about what people are. There's no response.
Yeah, yeah, and
You don't have
also
to look
like
at somebody's face
I've
when
heard
you have feelings.
I've heard a bunch of I've heard a bunch of input from people who are like, it really doesn't impact them. Like I am fortunate enough to work at a place where like it's fine. Like we're still working. We're a tech company. Like everybody's working from home. We have the technology to do it. It's okay. Like the only thing that gets in the way is like limited childcare, but it's fine. Like we're still getting paid. Your camp isn't happening right now. Entertainment's
Well,
not happening.
that's the bullet that I dodged because they terminated the position at Wildwood last year, and that
Oh
was
yeah.
crushing. I mean, it's like the whole show was about me being at Wildwood and setting up a place where my son could finally live and stay, and then all of a sudden it doesn't exist anymore. They're like, sorry, there's just whatever reason that they had for doing that, and so the whole winter was spent like, oh, what do I do? How does this work? And then springtime starts coming around. I'm like, oh my God, this is my first summer with no summer.
Yeah.
Huh? How am I going to handle this? And then the coronavirus comes in and it just eliminates everything. So there's no summer for anybody.
Right.
Summer camps are being closed and shut down, and they're having to completely reinvent themselves. And so it's weird because in taking one bullet, I dodged another one. And
Yeah. Yeah.
I would say that the one that I dodged was much bigger and probably more fatal than the one that I actually took.
Yeah. 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 That's true.
Because I mean, it doesn't matter. Like there's a few places that are trying to decide if they're going to have summer camp or not, and then there's other states, like I think in Kansas, they're just like, you know what, we really can't have summer camp.
Yeah. Is it Kansas or Missouri they're like doing concerts? They're allowing concerts right now.
Probably Missouri. Is it Kansas? I don't know. I've been pretty fond of the way that Governor Kelly in Kansas has been handling things. It's all been very measured, and she addresses people probably twice a week, and she hasn't been really challenged, publicly. But then again, what do I know about public? Because I've been in that house for. Today is day 70.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
And
crazy. The most I've ventured out is I went to Home Depot yesterday. That was it.
yeah,
That's all I've done. We've quickly gotten to 30 minutes, but if people are watching, Joey and I might play a game called Sex with Me, where you give us a household item and we do the old joke, sex with me is like, and then we
whatever.
use that as the punchline. So if you have a household item that you would like us to put in there,
Yeah.
a household item you would like to put in there.
Uh,
That was a mistake. I didn't mean to do that. Type it in the comments and we'll make a game out of it because it's what we do. And we'll wrap up here. But yeah, what? Yeah. So, how quickly after the show aired did Wildwood let you go? Because I think one of the things too that people are probably super interested in is like life after. Like, did you keep everything up?
yeah, almost exactly a year.
Okay, we got our first suggestion of sex with me is like a teapot.
Okay.
Sex with me is like a teapot because you just keep on steeping it until it gets full.
Sex with me is like a teapot. You're gonna whistle before I blow. Sex with me is like a teapot. Once it boils over, you're gonna get wet. No, that's funny. But,
sex with me. It's really hard because on a live stream, like you can't do anything to like pander to give yourself time to think. But
get out there, man.
Sex with me is like a teapot. Even when it's not being used, it's still out on the count. It's still out. I screwed that up because like it's still out there. Like your teapots are always out there, but I almost said on the counter, but that doesn't make
Sex with
sense.
me is like a teapot. It's pretty good plain, but it's better with honey.
All right. If you got any other ideas, put them in the comments. We'll try to make a joke out of them. That was good. Teapot that's like one of those ones that you don't get very often. That was a good one. That was nice. Person.
Kelly's got one.
Little self joy. That was good.
You got a teapot one? Kelly does improv.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, Kelly, do a teapot.
Sex with me is like a teapot. The British bring me out every day at 4:00.
Sex with me is like a teapot. It's better with biscuits.
Yeah, everything's better with biscuits. Anybody else? Anybody else got some? All right. If you have more, we'll make some more jokes. Just put them in the comments. A household item, appliance, lawn equipment, anything. Something you find in your fridge. Celebrity. Ooh, let's do a celebrity. Catnip. It comes from conversation with Pico.
This is gonna get raw.
Sex with me is like catnip. As soon as there's something dangling, it turns your attention away.
Okay, I'm going there. I'm going there. So I'm sorry.
There's so many bad things.
Sex with me, it makes pussies go crazy.
You said teapot.
I said teapot. I'm sorry. I screwed it up. I was so.
That made it better. That made it so much better. I just got a text from Kevin Brannick right now. Catnip makes the pussies go
wild. Sex with me is like catnip. It's fun for a while.
Keep these coming, people. These are good. I like it.
I haven't
done this in so long
for a long time because it's the group I'm working with now, Comedy Sports, is all family friendly. So
yeah.
I don't get to play this game anymore.
That's what I think is fun about Sex with Me is it's like you can't go super dirty because the joke in and of itself is dirty. So
right.
If you go dirty, it's like the audience has already thought of it.
Right.
That's been the huge thing for me. Speaking of that, I learned from like improv that I took into. Somebody just did secondhand underpants. Sex with me is like secondhand underpants. It feels pretty good, but you can always tell that somebody else has been there before.
Sex with me is like secondhand underpants. My brother wore them first.
Sex with me is like secondhand underpants. It's always a little damp. But anyway, I was making an actual comment for. I think this is funny. I wonder what people think. People are making suggestions, so it's fun. But yeah, like the thing that I learned, I think I learned more through improv than anything else. And like the whole thing with a joke is it's going to be funny if you like the audience hasn't thought of it. Like if they've thought of it already, it's hacky.
Right.
And so now as like somebody who I'm in marketing, and when we're trying to come up with like strategies and ideas or concepts, it's like that's what you have to do is like do something that people aren't thinking of. Because if they already think about it, especially in marketing, they're just gonna like it's not gonna take hold.
Why am I paying you for that? I already thought of it. I could do it myself.
All right. Oh, we got a little self joy on Instagram. Gave us another one. First, a broke flower pot. So that's funny because obviously, like, Sex with Me is like a broke flower pot because it can't afford any. But then they corrected it to a broken flower pot.
Sex with me is like a broken flower pot. It used to be a good thing.
Sex with me is like a broken flower pot. It always makes my wife cry.
Sex with me is like a broken flower pot. It usually involves dirt.
Yeah. Oh, I got one. Sex
Okay.
with me is like a broken flower pot. When it happens, gets everywhere. If I didn't stumble over my words, that would have been great. I was proud of that one. I was really proud of that one. Oh well. Well, we're at 40 minutes, Mr. Joey Greene. Oh, look who finally decided to join in, Kevin Brannick. He heard there was improv going on, and he had to get. We told the Kevin Brannick story. I wonder if he heard it.
Yeah, you missed it, Kevin. We told the story of the teacher losing her dress in front of the entire auditorium. Sorry.
I saw you texted me, but I can't answer because I'm doing a show right now. Maybe Kevin Brannick could be on the show sometime. That would be fun. Oh yeah. Anyway, let's wrap up with. Can you talk a little bit about like life after? Because I think people probably want to know if like you kept stuck with everything. Like how are things?
Yeah. Actually, the conversations with Karamo were really nice because there was some drama with departing and moving on to a new chapter in my life, and having those conversations about it's if it's important to me, it's important, whether I'm connected to camp or not. And actually, the non-disclosure you talked about was a really interesting time because it gave me a chance before the episode dropped to kind of live in that world without having a lot of outside influence asking me about it or doing anything. Because I mean, for the first month, it felt like I was living in a bed and breakfast. And I remember the night where I fell asleep and I was like, no, this is mine. I think I like knocked something over just because I could, because it was mine. But that took a long time to get used to. The other thing was I travel for these conferences and volunteer. That's how I can afford to do it. And so I literally left like 2-3 weeks after the show to go to Paris to meet all of these people that I hadn't seen for over a year. And I was so excited to see all of them. And I had just finished filming and I couldn't tell any of them.
Yeah.
I couldn't mention it and breathe it or anything. And I knew I wouldn't see them again until the following year after the episode had dropped. So that was, and then what was even crazier was the following year when I did finally get to see them again, I had been let go from Wildwood. So I didn't even live in the place anymore.
Yeah. Do any of the actual like guys from the show talk to you at all or reach out, or is it kind of like when the show was over with?
Occasionally. I mean, it's nothing like, well, we're not like hanging out, but like Bobby is really good about like just like if he sees a post and he likes it or if something comes up, he also tagged a lot of us right after the episode dropped so that people could find our Instagram pages.
That's awesome.
Then Bobby, Jonathan, Tan, and Anthony all did book releases, or Bobby had a furniture line and they had stops on their book tours and their sort of when he opened up his furniture line. And so Jonathan, well, a bunch of the heroes, I was out of town, but a bunch of the heroes went to Tan's book signing. And then Anthony actually had a huge, like, sort of reception, and we all went down and got to hang out and sign books. And it was really super exciting because it was the first time that we all, like, all of the heroes were together in the same place. And then when Jonathan came, he also did a big reception prior to the presentation, his talk. And so we all got together and hung out with him, and I thought that was really nice of them to do that, to just give us time to sort of meet and catch up and talk and hang out.
Yeah.
But occasionally they'll pop up in my threads and everything like that. That was one of the hardest things, was like, not really knowing the show until after I had become sort of a part of it.
Right. Yeah.
It was easy to convince myself that I had these new 5 best friends.
Yeah.
It reminds me of, oh, this was all very professional.
Yeah. You like wake up like, all right, what are we gonna do today? Oh, yeah, that's right. All right. Well, this was a pretty good time. We should do it again. Maybe next time we could play some music. But a couple people were asking, and the guitar is okay. Is there anything we could do real quick that we could? Is anybody from Kansas on?
I don't know.
Because it'd be cool if, like, you also turned me on to like Truck Stop Love.
I don't think my guitar. I'm an open G right now.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, hey, give me a quick little. So, not only did Joey and I do improv together, but we've played in a couple bands. And one of Joey's big trademark spots in the show when we would play was the background vocals to a song called Little Disappointment, which I'm going to be re-releasing, by the way. I'm going to have to send you this album I've been working on in the basement while this quarantine has been happening, which I have to get done before next week because the quarantine will be over kind of in Illinois. So, but would you be up for singing a chorus of Little Disappointment?
Sure.
You don't have to. We don't have to do it. What's that?
You should play it.
Okay. Do you just want me to do the chorus? I don't have a pick. I'll just do the chorus for you.
I'll play a song.
You sure? Is there a song you know all the words to that we could just sing right now together? You don't have to. It's fine.
Really?
All right. I think we're going to play music now. We weren't planning on this. Or if you guys want to see more sex with me jokes, just put them in the comments. You don't have to play, Joey. We can.
You won't be able to hear it anyway.
What do you want me to play?
An E.
E?
Yeah.
Okay. How about doing time?
Okay.
EABA. Is that cool? All right, here we go. This is unplanned. We weren't planning to do that. Is that cool? Doing time?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me know when you're ready. Oh, somebody asked for Cat Stevens. A little out of tune. We were not planning on doing this. I just grabbed my guitar to make sure it was okay. Good enough. Don't be shy. let your feelings roll. Don't wear fear, 'cause nobody knows you. All right, that was for the person who requested Cat Stevens. All right, Joey, are you ready? EABA? Joey's still tuning. Ready?
EAB?
EABA.
EABA. All right.
Yeah. Now you guys can play this song at home. Ready? I was sitting by myself watching my TV. There was a knock at the door. The sheriff said that I fit the description man he's been looking for. He cuffed my hands right behind my back, took me to the police station. That's when I found it was a murder charge. They said I would be facing time. I just need to time. I just need to time. They took me down to the county jail, set a date for my trial. Prosecutor said all my alibis, just more proof of denial. I was put away by 12 dishonest men, life with no chance of parole. I tried to appeal, but soon found there's no more dice left to roll. Time, I just need to time. I just need to time. Look out! Then one day I got an idea. God came by to do count. I knocked him down and ran away. Made my way to get out. Made it to the yard and halfway up the wall. That's when they shot me to the ground. Now I'm dead in a fine box. The real killer never was found. Send me to time. Now just send me to time. Time. Send me to time. Time. Now just send me to time. All right. Thank you, Joey. Thank you, everybody who tuned in. Thank you, Pico. Thank you, everybody who did suggestions. We had a good time. We'll have to do this again sometime. Stay safe out there. All right. Bye, Joey.
Take care.
All right. I will end the broadcast.